Hey everybody, this is Dude, and this is the Bourbon Boys Advent Tasting Podcast. We pulled together some of our favorite picks to share with you as we count down to Christmas. We hope you get a chance to taste some of these great bourbon brands this holiday season with friends and family. Until then, bourbon on.
So our next 10-year is called Clover, and this is a $45 bottle. It's a 10-year, and this is... it was first released in 2018, so they've just recently been able to claim the 10-year. And I cannot get a mash bill on it because it is sourced from multiple distilleries. And the golf connection on this one is it's got a nod to Bobby Jones. So Bobby Jones was a famous golfer back in the early days before players really were standouts, and he was one of the co-founders of the Masters. So unlike Kevin Costner, he was a legitimate golfer, and he was one of the first to achieve a Grand Slam in 1930. So going way back, but his family has continued his name, and in his honor has developed this bourbon collection. And he was known to always enjoy, after a round of golf or a win, a 3-finger pour of choice. 3 fingers, that is a substantial pour.
He just worked hard.
He did. He's like,
golf
did you
is
just
hard
see
work.
me do this?
Exactly.
So this is picked up by Piedmont Distillers. So this is just north of us. About almost 2 hours, and they are the first legalized distillery in North Carolina since Prohibition. So they introduced Clover whiskey, which is a series of single barrel whiskeys that can supposedly only be found at really exclusive golf courses, the clubs and resorts. And I found this on the shelf of an ABC. Go figure.
That's not a golf course.
No.
Or club.
But the clover meaning is Bobby was born on St. Patrick's Day. His mother gave him a 4-leaf clover for good fortune. And he wore it in every match, and each leaf of the 4-leaf clover is said to have a different meaning. So leaf 1 is hope, followed by faith, love, and luck. All of which he said were helpful in golf, life, and the making of whiskey. So if you think of hope, faith, love, and luck, go back 10 years and think about what have you been up to. But give this one a shot. This one, what's interesting in this distilling process is it has, what I learned is the Lincoln County process, which what they do is they actually take it out of the barrel and they filter it through, they basically steep the whiskey in maple sugar infused charcoal chips. So as it enters the cask, it's going through this stack. Sometimes they're like 10, 15 feet tall of this filtration that is just maple wood that has been, charred, and then they pour this through. So as it's entering the oak barrel, it's going through this maple thing. So they say the result is this complex aroma. So you're going to get slightly char and this mellow taste. And to the knowledge I could find, George Dickel and Jack Daniels are the 2 big ones that use this process. It's a 90 proof, so it's kind of right down the middle here as far as the bite goes. And tell me what you taste, but be looking for this aroma of toasted oak, caramel, vanilla, slight char, with a long, smooth, soft finish. And I'll stop talking, and you can tell me what you think.
Well, you said mellow earlier in some of the description.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely, it's almost too mellow.
Okay.
I mean, it's very, very soft. I was waiting for a little bite out of, which is one of the things out of a good bourbon. You like the bite and the flavors to hit you. Yeah. This one really never hits you.
Nope.
It's just there.
Yep.
Well, and there's a flavor to it that I can't
I can't really identify, but I don't like it.
Well, it's
I don't
funny
know what
because
it is. There's just something I can't.
when I tasted it, I didn't know what it was. But then when you talked about the filtering through the charcoal, that's what I'm picking up on is a little bit of like a burnt,
Charry.
almost like smelling a Weber grill, like
Okay.
like
All right, you getting the char?
a little bit, yeah. I am anyway. But it's funny when to the nose, it felt very flat to me.
For the nose, absolutely, I totally agree.
Yeah, I just didn't get a whole lot from it.
Yep.
So I was surprised by the palate because I was expecting something a little different.
Yeah.
I like it because I think it's got a low rye mix. If we were to get the mash bill on it, I would say, to your point, Dave, you're waiting for that bite.
Yeah.
Alton, you're waiting for that kick.
Yep.
It doesn't show up. If it does, it's super subtle.
It's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't a whole. It's almost like it's trying to fire, but it won't.
Yeah. And it's 90 proof?
90 proof.
So a little light, but not crazy.
Yeah.
No, but I thought that tin cup had a little more bite to it than
it did for
this
sure.
one, and that was 84 proof. Yeah, so.
And that's
Just a high
that's
rye.
the rye coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know what there's just this weird flavor.
There's a sweetness to it. It might be that maple
corn and then probably the maple too. But yeah,
so if it's going through that maple char process, you get kind of a burnt pancake.
There you go. That's exactly what it was.
That's exactly what it is. It's a burnt pancake.
Nailed it.
You could not have described it, Eddie.
Grandma's house.
That's exactly it. That's really weird,
Right?
dude. Yeah.
And Mr. Clover's rolling over in his grave.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, when I saw the Clover bottle, so there's a town in Wisconsin called Clover. So you know, right?
Where are you going?
Well, because the motto of the city of Clover is that it's a city with love in the middle, and that's the first thing that went to my head when I saw the Clover.
Nice.
So it's the bourbon with love in the middle, and which kind of actually relates to it because
Hope,
of the
faith, love, and luck.
There you go.
Yep.
So
I had to double check, make sure it wasn't live, laugh, love on the bottle.
or libation and lore.
I think Live, Laugh, Love is available at Home Goods. This is the Home Goods brand of bourbon.
Or Hobby Lobby.
Burnt pancakes.
Burnt pancakes.
Yep.
Not that that's a bad thing.
No, and I think if it's something that I like the taste of it, like it's got a full flavor to it. I like the smoothness of it. I think it's one of the smoother ones that we've had.
Yeah. No,
and I was just chalking it up to it's 10 years old, and we'll see if the other two stand up as far as smoothness goes.
Yeah.
I've actually seen it at our local ABC store.
Yeah.
And it's just been sitting there. I mean,
What are the other bottles doing?
Nobody
I don't know. But it's been sitting there. I walk in, they're like, "Hey, Krat, what's going on?" But
Norm.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just different. It's not bad. It's just different.
No.
Here's what I will give it. I like the bottle. I think the bottle's pretty cool.
It's very rectangular.
Very rectangular. It's
It's because it's a rectangle.
If you look, but if you work with me here. So if you look at all the other bottles on the table, they all look very similar, right? Yeah, the Weller's a little different, but there's something about that very kind of
nice.
clean, square look that I like.
It's southern looking to me, and maybe it's just the picture on the front just kind of feels very.
And like Tin Cup, it's got copy on all four sides.
All
does,
four
really.
sides. I like that. You use all the space. Plenty to say. I would put this in not one of my favorites, but it is a very distinct flavor. Mm-hmm. So for folks wanting to try something, it's not one you're going to, feel like, oh, that tastes just like the other 6 bourbons we just tried.
Right.
It's owning its flavor.
It does own its flavor. I think it's very mellow. I mean, you talked about it being smooth. I like the word mellow because, like I said, it never comes up on you.
Right.
So definitely worth a shot for some folks. But it's not going to be on my shelf.
Okay, so here's a question for you guys. Is this one that you would give to somebody who is trying for the first time?
No.
I don't think so, because I think its distribution. Well, no, I think its distribution is really hard to get. So I think we're lucky in that it's Piedmont Distillery, and that is just north of us, a couple hours. And what's the name of the town? I've already forgotten it.
Madison.
Madison.
Yep.
So I think we're getting it in our ABC, but the list on its site, it was all like these premier golf courses.
Really?
So
it's interesting. Well, I mean, it feels like they're tying into the story.
Right.
I think the reason I probably would not give it to somebody for the first time is that it is a very unique flavor.
Yeah, I
agree. Once you've kind of got your bourbon mojo on in terms of what flavors you like, that to me is one that you could try and say, this is different. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't. But right out of the box for somebody that hasn't really figured out what they like yet, I think it's just a very distinct and unique flavor.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I just took the last kind of sip of what I had and let it sit on my tongue a bit. It does kind of burn the tongue a little bit when you let it sit there.
This would be an interesting one too, because we talked about the mellow and the smoothness, and we talked about Bobby Jones, and golf in North Carolina is typically a hot season sport over a big piece of ice. This could be a refreshing finish. Back to the clubhouse,
with the mellowness.
Started talking about some stories and how the round was. So that absolutely could be a place for it.
Yeah.
So the four were hope, faith, love,
and luck.
And golf lies.
From all of us Bourbon Boys, we want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bourbon on.